All right, we've brought our boxes of frames into the house. We've got our setup here ready in our kitchen to extract the honey. We've got a clean 5-gallon food grade bucket. We've got a nice little mesh bag that's in it because we're gonna take the cappings off and they're gonna fall in here. I've got a handy little tool to hold my frame and a very, very sharp knife, which I recommend if you're gonna decap. And this is what the extractor looks like. It's a large metal cylinder, and we're gonna put the frames in here and spin them around, and just like being on a merry-go-round and you're feeling like you're flying off, all the honey is gonna fly off to the edge and drip down to the bottom, and then we're gonna take it out at the spigot at the bottom when that bottom container is full. So let's start by loosening up a frame and lifting it out. And you can see here is all of that capped honey. We can tell it's ready to harvest because it has at least 80% of all of the cells are capped off. That's how we know that it is ready to go. So I'm going to use my knife here. You can see as I come down, I'm getting off all those cappings. And if it's not perfect, I'll go back. They're all dropping into this bucket. And then you can see there's still some honey. We're not gonna lose that honey because it's gonna go through the small weave of that bag. And we're gonna end up pouring that off. So I've got just a little bit I'm gonna come back here to open up. And when I have one side done, I'm gonna flip it over. There's actually a plastic piece, a foundation piece on the inside of this frame. And so we have to spin out the honey from both sides. And you can see on this side, they didn't get quite to the edge. So if it's too far down for the knife, I've got another tool, another uncapping tool. Looks like a big metal fork. And I just lift the cappings off so that those cells are exposed and I can get the honey off of the bottom of the cells. All right, and then I'm gonna take this, I'm gonna slide it down in the spinner. And I'm gonna repeat this 3 more times and we're gonna come back and spin. All right, we've got 4 medium frames. We have uncapped both sides of the frames. And now we're gonna protect ourselves from flying honey with the top of the extractor. We've got 2 plastic pieces here, and this is going to keep the honey that we're gonna spin from coming out and getting all over the kitchen. So this has a little catch on it. You've gotta make sure our version is pushed in. Disengages, you let it go. We've learned from experience that you need to put it on a base and give it a way to shimmy because it's going to move as it spins around. So we've got it ratcheted down to a little movable stand. This usually takes about 3 spins as quickly as we can get it up to speed. Slows down a little bit, we can re-engage the handle. gonna flip all those frames the other way. Remember, we had to take the cappings off of both sides, so we only spun out one side. Now we're gonna flip it the opposite direction so the honey can spin out the other side of the frames. And if you look down in here, you can see honey is just dripping off. It's going down into the bottom. It's going to go through a little metal sieve that's in between the main chamber of the extractor and the container at the bottom. Now look at this. This one did not have foundation on the inside. This was foundationless. So the bees made all the wax themselves. So that one, it kind of pushed it up against the frames a little bit. But you can see, look how empty that is. All those cells, the honey has been spun out. So now we're going to do the same thing with the other side. Here's another really good picture of how empty all those cells are after we have spun them out. So now we're going to get the other side in. We're going to protect ourselves one more time so we don't get covered with any more honey than we need to. And we're going to go through the same process again. 3 spins. Get it up to speed. Let it slow down a little bit. We'll do it 2 more times, and then both sides are going to be empty, and we can start on the rest of the frames. You can tell this is a very labor-intensive process. Takes lots and lots of bees to make the honey. Take lots and lots of effort from the beekeeper to get the honey out. But it is a sweet reward when it comes. We have now filled up the bottom metal bucket of the extractor. So it's going to come down through this spigot. There it is, golden and sweet. Who is ready for some honey? We're letting it drain through 2 more mesh filters, so it will be the clearest it can possibly be by the time it gets down in the bottom of this food grade bucket. We'll let it sit for a couple of days and it'll be ready for bottling.